So redemption. Jim Crow is going to be established in the South. It's going to be a bit of a long process. It's a gradual process. It moves fairly quickly. The first targets of Jim Crow segregation were railroad cars, right? Transportation of goods and people, and you'd have black cars and white cars. And technically, this violated the Civil Rights Act of 1875. Now, this is going to last until 1883 when the United States Supreme Court rules that the federal government couldn't ban racial discrimination by private individuals or businesses. Now, what do we mean by private? That means anything that's not associated with the government. So individuals, I mean, that makes sense. An individual could be racist and you can't really do anything to legally ban that. Now, the issue with businesses is if I own a business and it is a private business, not supported by the government, that's going to allow segregation as well. So, for example, a railroad car owned by a private railroad company could legally segregate in 1883. And this is going to work its way through the legal system. The challenges of this, Ida B. Wells is going to challenge it. Sally Mae Fleming in South Carolina is going to challenge it. But the case that really makes this a national precedent is Plessy versus Ferguson. Now, I don't need to know the entire details of this, but I think a 1/8 black male was in a white car. He could pass at the time, but it was known that he was a black man, so he was removed from the car. He sues, goes all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court establishes this idea that state law can be separate as long as there's equal facilities. This is where we get the idea of separate but equal. Now, they're not going to be equal, but that's not the point. The point is that the Supreme Court was trying to establish that you can have a black section and a white section. Almost never are they going to be equal. In fact, what's going to happen later with Brown versus Board of Education is they're going to argue that these facilities are inherently unequal. Otherwise, they wouldn't have to be separated. But Plessy versus Ferguson says that. And accompanied with these legal establishments of segregation are going to be lynchings. Lynching is vigilante justice. The mob would find somebody and they would murder them. I mean, this is just a group murder. And there's going to be about 188 of these per year from around 1890 to about 1900. And what ends up happening with this, almost all of them are in the South, by the way, 82%. They're trying, it's not justice. It's vigilante justice, but it's not justice. What this is trying to do is establish a social order. And this is the point of lynching. Right? They were trying to prove that the white population was going to use violence to intimidate the non-white population. In fact, here's what the Mississippi governor had to say about it. If it is necessary that every Negro in the state shall be lynched, it will be done to maintain white supremacy. That's the whole point, is to maintain the white supremacy. And it's not going to be something that's hidden. This is a carnival atmosphere that people went to. Newspapers published pictures. Letters were written thanking officials that showed up. They were not ashamed of this. This was done to maintain the racial superiority system of that time period.